Novo Resume, which is a premium resume design service. I paid for it so I could use a template for a cover letter too. It's actually really, really cool.
Thank you. I did not know that.
I think I wasn't saying anything terrible. Let's do it.
We have to turn down the volume of the music. Hey everyone, how you doing? I hear you could hear us already. Did we say anything bad? No, I won't check. I'm sure we didn't say anything bad, but we do have some really exciting things for you today. We are going to be reviewing your resumes or CVs that we say in the UK. And we're also running Radio Eddie. So you can call in air quotes, and join me on the stream with audio only via Discord. So a big shout out to Nick. Thank you so much for all the awesome work you do every day, but also especially now looking after the Radio Eddie people calling in. Nick, do you want to give yourself a shout out and explain how people can join if they want?
Absolutely. So for those who do not know me, I'm NH Kerrigan in the Discord server. If you have not joined us there, you totally should. It's a great place to hang out. And so in our Discord server, our regular active participants in our community are granted the Team Eddie role, and this role indicates that you're a regular contributor and you are not someone who's just going to come in and spam Discord links and leave. And if you have that role, you will be able to join the Radio Eddie waiting voice channel. And when you join that channel, that lets us know that you're interested in participating in our live stream voice. It is audio only. You don't need to have a camera. You don't need to have your lights on. You can hang out in the dark with us if you'd like. I say that because all of my lights are off. And when I see you join that channel, I will move you into the Radio Eddie channel, which is our live stream audio channel, and people will be able to hear you in that channel.
Let me play some sound effects. We will have a level up sound effect, but sorry, Nick, you couldn't hear that.
I assume it's awesome like everything else that you put together. So
thank you. I really appreciate it. So as everyone can see, we have some resumes to review behind me. But before we get into that, we have yours truly. No, that means me. We have Nick CV or resume going first. So we thought it would be interesting to have a look at his. And I haven't even looked at it yet. Nick literally just sent it to me a minute ago, which is probably what you heard us talking about when the holding page was up. I need to fix that. Someone please remind me. So who wants to see Nick's resume? So maybe we can get some ideas from it. It is a bit out of date. How out of date is it, Nick, do you think?
About 4 months. This is the resume that I had put together when I was first applying for programming jobs.
Okay, awesome. So it's changed a bit, but we can discuss that and see. So let's have a look. So you should see it behind me. And just to reiterate what Nick was saying, if you do want to join the audio, join the live stream to give suggestions, ask some questions, or even when your resume is being reviewed, feel free. And just like Nick, you won't be on camera, but people will better hear you. Okay. Let's have a look. So straight away, my first impressions, I don't know what all of yours are, so do let us know in the chat what your first impressions are, because I think with resumes, first impression is everything. Because most of the time I'm just going to go to your GitHub and have a look, not just at your code, and we'll get to that, but that's more important to me. But my first impressions are this is organized and they've had some consideration for, my user experience. Just like when someone raises an issue or a pull request, you can tell when someone's made an effort and thought of the other person because they've laid it out quite nicely and used Markdown and so on. So my first impression is this is great. I know the person's name, so I can check I'm reading the right CV, and they've got the title and contact information. Love that. GitHub link, website link, straight at the top. That's where I'm going to go probably first before I do anything. I mean, we've looked at Nick's website and GitHub a load, so we won't have a look at it now, but that would be the first thing that I would do. And I would just check that they're in the right ballpark for what technologies they're using. So it looks good. And, skills, I like that. Certificate, again, straight away, nice and clear what it is. It's not too cramped, it's not too spread out, it's really well balanced, I think. It's definitely on brand with the colors, so it's consistent. I think that's great. I mean, let me check the chat. What does everyone else think? Let's have a look. What have we got? While I'm having a look at the chat, everyone, don't forget, give this video a thumbs up. There's 2 thumbs up, just one's enough. And subscribe if you haven't already. Let's have a look. So we've got Nick up. Lots of support from people. That's great. Mercy Pink says, Nick did not hide their personal information. And Nick didn't mind because it's on their website already. Oh, he's already replied. One should make their resume on LaTeX. Nice. Yeah, LaTeX and ASCII docs and ASCII Doctor are epic too. Cool, let's have a look. So volunteer experience, I think this is really important as already. People seem to think it's just, I don't know, about the buzzwords and the buzz companies and so forth. But for me, I love that. If you volunteer, which I think a lot of you do, then I think you should put that in and the tasks that you do. I love this, really well organized. Projects, and it's got a start date, which I think again is really useful because it's unclear if you started it last week because you knew you had the interview this week, or you started it 5 years ago and it's just been, so I think this is really, really good. Like this, currently used on 14 different servers. Wow, that's impressive. Really, really impressive. But I like these stats. Everyone likes numbers, right? Not numbers in terms of we do some crazy calculations, but just some metrics on how it's going. Really, really like that. Nice. So these projects are great. I guess one thing I would like to see, I know I can find this from your GitHub link, but I think one thing I would like to see, if you could make these or put an icon or something, just so I can get to these projects really quickly. I think that's my one constructive criticism so far, was I'd be like, right, I like this. I'd love to see it.
I will say that in my experience, hyperlinks or clickable items within a resume are bad form because there are still a lot of companies that print resumes out to review them, and having a hyperlink on print doesn't do a whole lot.
It's true. I've tried to triple click them on paper. It doesn't work. You're right, but I think still a lot of people see it on computer. Say I don't know what number is. I'm going to make up a random number here, like 50-50 for argument's sake. And then at least you're making it easier for those people who do look at it on computer. So to give some metrics, again, some examples, I've been hiring for my clients for over 10 years. And so I look at CVs, resumes, GitHub profiles a lot in different sectors, different levels and so forth. And I've always done it on digital format, and I do ask HR or recruitment companies if I have to use them because the company suggests we have to, then I always ask for the digital version. But you're right, absolutely right, some people will print it out, but I guess it's like some people who will still use IE6. Okay, they won't use IE6, but like an older version of the browser, they might not get the nice experience, but it should still work. And then the people who have the more advanced version, then they should have a better experience, I suppose. That's the only thing I'd say.
I
It
don't
looks
think
really
any of my
good.
stuff works on IE6.
Sorry, say that again.
I don't think any of my projects work on
Yeah,
IE6.
not do I. I don't think anything works on IE6. But this is really good. I mean, this is really nice. It's one page, which is really nice for me. 1, 2 pages, 3 pages tops. After that, I'm not going to scroll any further. So yeah, everyone watching, don't waste the page with, like, I don't know, a big scenic picture or something of you at a hackathon at the front. I think you just waste the page and it doesn't, look so good. But I think this looks great. I think this is a really good example. So Nick, thank you so much for sharing. What have other people suggested in the chat? Let me have a look. QR code on a resume. That's an interesting one. I don't think there's any harm in doing it, but the chances of someone using it are quite slim. So say, for example, at the top right here, if you had a QR code, I think it'd be quite geeky. I think I would like it. I don't think I'd use it, but I think it'd be quite geeky. So I definitely say thumbs up to QR code if you want to put one on. Oh, even Nick's agreeing with you. Nice. Oh, even more people agreeing with you. Okay, we've got some good suggestions here. So this is why pairing on code, open source reviews and resumes is important. And by pairing, there are like 30 or so of us on here. So that's, I don't know what the word for that is, but we're working together, which is most important. What do we say? Collaboration is first, code second. Awesome. Oh, Nick shared the service that you used to create it. Nice. Awesome. And I love that you mentioned that you used a service to create it, because I think a lot of people, I see them using a template or something, which is fine, but then when you ask them, where did you do that? Oh, I made it from scratch myself. And then later on, I don't know, you discover it wasn't because you see someone else have a similar one. And there's nothing wrong with saying you used a template or used a service. But I think if someone tries to cover it up, I get more, I suppose, dubious later on when you discover it. I think, what else are they hiding? So I think I love it that you own it. You use the service. Awesome.
Absolutely. If you're willing to hide the fact that you use a service to build your resume, then you're probably also willing to hide the fact that you used Stack Overflow to get a code snippet. And I want the honesty from people that I work with more than I want anything else.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got some more questions coming in. Let's have a look. Alan says, "What's your when your tech stack is C?" I'm not sure what that's referring to. Maybe I've missed something else in the chat. Let's have a look. Web Dev Junkie, who is another YouTuber. So hello, YouTuber. Should related work experience be near the top of the resume as is most important, or does it make a difference? That's a great question. I think it's a personal choice, but for me, work experience doesn't kind of weigh so much. When I look on people's CVs, I usually just glance over it most of the time. Most of the time, I'm looking at projects and I'm looking at their GitHub. And as I've said many times before, but just for anyone new here, when I look at people's GitHub, I'm not following Nick. Drop Nick a follow. Here we go. But I am sponsoring Nick. So what I look for is not how many green squares, or again, the first impression, that is a good thing to see activity, but I'm looking to see how they collaborate. So I scroll down even further and I'm like, right, what are they collaborating on? How they communicate with other people, because that's the most important. So you can see, like, 2 open issues, on one of our projects, but how have they communicated? Have they raised a good issue? Have they raised a good pull request? And when I say good pull request, I don't just mean the changes in the pull request. I actually mean also the description, the body, which I believe is just as important as the actual changes, if not more important. So that's what I look for. But this is awesome. I like this. Let me drop. I don't think Nick has done it yet. Your GitHub in the chat as well. But hopefully everyone liked Nick's resume. And let's bring up the next one. Who have we got next? We're going to start with the oldest first. If I give this a refresh, I think some more have come in. So we have Mohit. Let's have a look. Look at your CV. Oh, it's downloaded. There's your phone number on it. Let me try and obfuscate it. Let me see if I can annotate it. If it's too much hassle, we'll have to omit it because I don't want personal information. We don't want to dox anyone, right? Okay, no, it seems to be okay. Okay, we've managed to do that. Let's have a look. Right, so I've covered that up. So Mohit's put a picture, which I personally like. I know a lot of people don't, but for me, when I'm kind of reading this, I feel like, I don't know, they're there, and I feel it's more real. I don't know. It's just, I prefer that. But I know most people don't, so don't feel you have to do it. What's everyone's
On the
thoughts on
resume,
the chat?
it's definitely a very divisive issue. Some people say yes, it helps put a name to a face, and it means that if you come in for an interview, they'll remember your resume because
Yeah,
they'll remember your face. And then other people say that it creates a potential concern for selection bias and for inherent discrimination or unintentional discrimination.
yeah,
So it really does go both ways. I do know that the standard here in the United States is not to include a picture.
right. I think the standard in the UK is as well, not to include a picture. I agree. But for me, the way I see it, so you all know my name, Eddie Jowd. And for me, people are already going to make an assumption with that name. So I feel the bias or, unconscious, whatever it is already there. So I feel if I put a picture that it's just showing that I might be able to, what's the word? They can put, like you said, they can put a name to a face, and when I come in, they're more likely to remember me. I feel that my name isn't like, John Smith. So it is a name. People will make assumptions already. So that's why I prefer it. But that's going back a long time ago. I would love to show you all my resume one day, but it hasn't been updated probably in 6 years because I don't use resumes anymore. Luckily enough, that's not something I need. But I can show you, and you can all have a good old giggle about mine one day. But I do like this. Is this using a similar service to yours? Because it looks very similar.
The exact same service, actually, because
Beautiful.
that's another template available on that website.
I love it. It's just so well laid out. It looks different to yours, so it's not like the same, but it just looks consistent, and it's the skills block that gave it away.
I actually think that's the same template. Um, so the Nova resume offers an option to switch to a two-column layout, which I specifically avoided because that creates issues for those ATS robots that read your resume before it ever gets to a human. Um, but that looks like the same template I use with a different color and the two-column layout.
Right, I see. Okay, got you. I've seen some more questions in the chat. So, Amir, is it good to write all the skills in a resume or just the skills we know them deeply? It probably depends on the role you're going to. So if you're I don't know, say you're a Java developer and you know Java, Kotlin, all the JVM kind of language, not all of them, but a proportion or a section of JVM languages and those technologies around that and frameworks around that. But you're going for one that is specific in, I don't know, a niche of that, like Kotlin, for example, then if you could it depends on your space and you don't want to list 100. So I would probably focus on the ones that match that role. So you might have like a base resume, but 10% of it is just kind of tweaked depending on the role you're going for. So you can tailor it to that role and maybe the frameworks and technologies they're using. I think that would be more important. But I think this looks really good. I see no one jumping on Radio Eddie. Everyone, if you're new here or you've recently joined, you can join our audio if you've got the Team Eddie role. which means you've been around for a while and helped people, and we trust you to jump on the audio with me. Just like Nick's on the audio with me now, you can jump on the audio with me. It is Radio Eddie Waiting is the audio channel that you need to do in Discord, and then Nick will move you across onto the live one. But I love this template. Oh, sorry, Nick, go on.
Speaking of which, let me bring Alex on right now.
Alex is always first. That's awesome. How you doing, Alex?
Hey everyone. It's nice to be here.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for kickstarting this. It's great. So what are your thoughts on the resumes we've seen so far?
I think they're pretty compact and well made. Yeah, unless I think that it's I no. I think that mine that you will see later, it's a bit more different, so that's what I'm thinking now.
Okay, no problem. It's the two we've seen so far are using the same tool to build it, the same service. So they are a bit similar in that sense. So it'll be good shortly when we see things that are completely different. I do like this though, how you've got kind of this link to go to the companies straight away if you want to see. But these companies are not ones I'm going to click on. I'm more interested in the projects, which they do have links. So that's awesome. But it goes to the company website again. It's kind of like, I want to see open source stuff. Yes, I can find out from your GitHub account. But if there's any in particular projects that you're interested in, interests, I think that's quite good. Did you include interests in yours, Alex?
Yep, there are some interests and hobbies.
Nice. So with mine, again, I'll show you all one day, but because it's just became so big over the years and I wanted to keep it small, things like that I think I had to omit. But I think this looks good. I think with a template, or a service, it just makes it a lot easier to, I guess, make sure things aren't missed, like location. I do like social links on here as well. I think that's pretty good. I like it, definitely. What does everyone think in the chat? Let's have a look. Hey everyone who's just saying hey in the chat, awesome to have you here. But I think that looks really good. It's in date order. So I find it odd when people don't put things in date order, but I'm guessing the service does that for you already, which is really good. Yeah. And it is one page, which is great. Ignore this red block. I just used that to remove private information. Okay, any questions from anyone in the chat about this? Any suggestions, any feedback? I know we spoke about the picture, and it is, I think, very polarized. People either think it's a great idea or they think it's a bad idea. But I think it's good. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Next one is... Here we go. Link to my resume. 404. Oh, we made a fail sound. Try again. Wait a second. There we go. That wasn't a major fail, but yeah. Okay, so link does not work. Link does not work. Right. Next one. Okay, let's see. Resume. Oh, that's a bit small. Oh, I didn't check for personal information. Should have checked on the other screen, but I think we're good. Make that a bit bigger. Here we go. Let's have a look. What are you all thinking? Got lots of people on the live stream. Give this video a thumbs up and let us know what you think in the chat. So, oh, we've got a phone number. Let me delete that. I can't delete it. This is a terrible idea. Let me scroll that up slightly so you can't see. I know you've seen it already. It's a bit late. Okay. Languages. Python and JavaScript, frameworks, other. I guess I'd like to see this a bit. I suppose we've been spoiled by the previous resumes where it was kind of laid out really nicely. So I think this isn't customized too much. Obviously, you don't want to over customize it, but I think it is nice to have these pop a bit more because they are kind of the important one. And yeah, why other? I suppose because it doesn't fit into languages. Okay.
Maybe their primary languages are Python and JavaScript, and also they know HTML, CSS, and so on.
Yeah, possibly. I think it would be good to maybe remove that kind of guesswork because I thought of something else, you thought of primary and secondary, and I think there's no right or wrong because we don't know, but it would be good if it was like crystal clear. So maybe that's good to get a friend to review, someone's your CV or whoever CV it is, so they can, ask questions like this and make it clear. Eddie in docs mode. It says on the GitHub issue, do not include any private information that you don't want, and it's just like, yeah, it's not good to dox yourself, and I'm helping promote dox you as well. Siddharth says about the adding a picture. Yeah, I think that goes for all socials. Having a professional picture, well, professional looking, not necessarily taken professionally, does really help. If you're going down on a water slide, that might be fun or something like that, but it's not something I'd put on your LinkedIn profile and so forth. Even your GitHub, to be honest, I think it needs to be kept quite professional.
My picture is so professional.
Yours is the cartoon sketch, right?
Yes.
Well, I think it's better than going down on a water slide still, and you're consistent everywhere, which again really helps.
I think that the great thing about this resume is that you can tell that the person took time to make it themselves and not using the templates. Nothing wrong with using the templates, but there is an extra effort here.
I do like the consistency of the templates. I do really like that. Templates have been really designed by, I guess, different people and so forth. So I think I do prefer the templates. I don't know why. I just think it's easier to digest. This is a lot of text on this one. So we did have a question from Nia. Which format of resume is better, 2-column or single? That's a good question. I think it depends on how much information you're going to put in. So for example, this is quite a lot of text. So I wouldn't recommend putting that in a 2-column layout because it would just be very, very tall. I think we have one like that coming up, I noticed earlier, where it just looks really squished. So I think it depends. I like 2-column if it's kept very concise. But with something like this, I don't think it would be possible. I don't even know if it'd be. I couldn't do it with mine. I don't think. I'd have to really rethink. It is hard, I think, to do. But you got projects, link to website, link to GitHub. Boom! Like big thumbs up. Definitely. Let's have a sound effect. Collect a coin. And then you've got education. September 2018, March 2023. Okay. Interesting. So for me, March 2023 seems odd that the date is in the future. I know you've got a finish date. I'm so used to, I suppose, like LinkedIn where it says current, I think, or something like that. So, and then there's a missing space between 2018 and the hyphen. And for me, inconsistencies like that make me think, well, will their code, will their documentation, will that be inconsistent? So it is really important. That's what I'm looking more for on a resume rather than the actual what has been written. I'm looking for consistency. So I think that would be That would be important, because everywhere else it's done with space on either side, which looks correct. But yeah, that's why template I think is good, because they'll take care of a lot of that for you. Oh, doxed them again. So, but yeah, one page looks good. What do you all think in the chat? Let's have a look. Personal brand by Akshu. Yeah, personal brand is so important, which is why I think if you can align everything with the same picture on most social platforms, GitHub, LinkedIn, and also your like resume, if you can tie up the colors, I think that's really important. I think that's really, really good. It just shows, again, that attention to detail. And I'm terrible at that, so I'm probably not the best example. Eddie, you should take your own advice. But I really appreciate people sharing this. Just please remove your personal information so you don't get doxxed. But I think it looks good. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We've got quite a few to get through. Let me close these. I'll write comments later. What have we got next? I should probably check this. Shall I check this on the other screen first, just in case they might have, like, I don't know, their home address and bank details and PIN codes or something? Just let me check.
Plan to put that on GitHub. Open source bank account.
Yeah. Okay, they've changed their phone number to lots of 9s, so I'm guessing that is not their actual phone number. Okay, awesome. Right. Well done, Avinash. You haven't doxed yourself, and I haven't been complicit in doxing you either. So that's great. So GitHub link straight away up there. Again, love that. That would be normally the first thing I go to see. Actually, you know what? Let's go take a peek. What have we got? So you can tell there's a bit of activity, then a gap, and a bit of activity and gap. So it could be because of, like, I don't know, Hacktoberfest in October down here, and then New Year's resolution maybe, and then February maybe got a new job or new project or something. It's better to kind of try and have it, you don't need every day, but try and have it more active. It just, first impressions count. Lots of different languages here, which could be like jack of all trades, master of none, I suppose. I mean, it's good to try different languages, don't get me wrong. But in your popular repositories, you probably want to be a little bit consistent, I think. My personal opinion again. What do you all think? I'll check. Hey, Eddie, review faster. Did I miss one? Oh, no. Did I really?
It's possible, yeah.
I did. Okay, my bad. This is why it's so important to collaborate with people, because they'll pick up on things that you miss. So thank you. ViViV is competing with Mohammed for Eagle Eye's nickname, because they spot everything, which is amazing. Okay, what we're looking at there, GitHub, and then education. So this is 2 columns, and you can see education, it's not too much text. I think that's really useful. Again, work experience, it's got a bit long, I suppose, but as you add more work experience, you probably have to shorten that. But at the moment, if you've just got the 1, then that's fine. New Year's resolution. Okay. Avinash is here. Awesome. Avinash, do you want to join on Radio Eddie and join on the call in audio? Don't know if it's the same Avinash or not. Oh, it is. Yes. See, the same name on YouTube, same name on the resume, and I hope the same name on Discord makes it so much easier for people to remember you, rather than trying to remember like 5 different names for the same person. I just don't get that. And I have people message me on other platforms and go, oh, hey, it's me. We were just chatting on Discord or wherever. It's like, were we? What were we chatting about? I have a different picture, different name, and it's just too hard to follow. Make it easy for people who are going to hire you, your network, all that, to remember you. Otherwise, you have to work 5 times harder yourself. Achievements. 1 prizes at Hackathon. Awesome. Love this. Lots of achievements. Postman student. That looks good. Is it in date order? That's 2021. That's 2020. And then that's 2021. So is it in order of your most proudest? I'm not sure. I suppose not everything has dates, so I would probably remove the dates or put the dates on everything, like the year, not necessarily the month. So Alan says, Eddie shouldn't see my resume, 4 pages long. Yeah, I think mine might be 3 or 4 pages long. I think I did 3. I think I removed some stuff. Hopefully I'm not missing too much in the chat. Actually, I was meant to give some of the mods access to bring up comments, so therefore I could be prompted when I see it. Okay, we'll do that next time. I won't do that now. But yeah, so it looks good. Work experience, you got the dates, so that's good. Build Jenkins pipeline, etc. We mentioned technologies. Projects, you've got the GitHub link. I suppose this gets round the issue that Nick was mentioning, whereas if you print it out, you know, a clickable icon doesn't work. So by putting the entire link in there, now I can click it, which is great. But if it's printed on paper, then people can also kind of search for your username and search for the app, or type it in if they want. But this looks good, and it's 1 page, which is really concise. I like that. I think it's good. What do you all think in the chat? I think it looks good. Technical skills. I would probably put technical skills higher up. What do you all think? For me, I think I'd like to see it reversed. For me, education should be down the bottom. Education doesn't carry much weight, in my point of view. I appreciate other people might be different, but I'd love to see this first, because you've got lots of nice skills here. We need to chat about Docker and Cassandra, because I have some questions about that. But yeah, I think I would flip that around, I suppose. Education down the bottom, technical skills down the top. What do you think in the chat? And while you're thinking, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps support the channel. And then you can hit the bell button so you get notified every time I go live and post a video. And during live streams, we do have Discord, so you can chat with us between Discord. So Alex, you're still here. What do you think of this one?
I think it's, for me, it's a bit too long. I think maybe I haven't read it entirely, but maybe they can cut some of these, for example, achievements to have more space for projects, for future projects, and still remain 1 page.
You're right. It is very text heavy. Like, it is very, very text heavy. Definitely.
Yeah, but overall, I think it's very good.
Awesome. Cool. I think I'd like to see some more dates maybe on projects, only because it's in the same column as work experience. I think just to, again, have that consistency. And, you know, there's no full stop at the end here, but there is over here. Yeah, again, consistency I think is the most important. But that's good. Okay, shall we go have a look at the one that I missed? What does everyone think in the chat? Jay says, let me bring that up, because that's a good point, and I have an answer for that, I think. So, getting the same username on all platforms is an achievement, especially if you have a common name. That is true, and at least not the same username, but the same name, display name, and ideally the same picture as well. You know, Instagram can be quite different, I suppose, but things like GitHub and LinkedIn, the ones that is your personal brand and so forth, I think is really important. Okay, which one did I miss? I think it was this one. That's the one we just did, isn't it? Let me check. Oh, no, we did that one. Did I miss one?
Second from the bottom there.
Oh, this is the one that didn't work. This had a 404.
That would be why.
But it's good to double check. Thank you all. It's good to double check. Oh, next we have Alex. Alex, are you still on the audio? You are. Have you removed personal information?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Oh, wow. This is laid out really well. Like, you really thought of the design. Okay, so this stands out.
Using a platform, I was pasting it in the chat right now.
Okay, cool. So first impressions, I like it. It's definitely bold. Like, it stands out. I'm not going to forget. And I think the way people look at resumes and business cards and so forth is what someone told me, and I think there has some value to it. Is if someone got loads of business cards or loads of CVs and just threw them onto the desk, could they pick yours out really quickly? And I think this one could be picked out really quickly. If I'd seen it before, if I thought, oh, where is that person's CV? And I'll just know it straight away. So I think that stands out. So I think that's really, really good. I do like that. The progress bars, I'll be interested to see what everyone thinks in the chat, but progress bars for me are really hard to understand, because this is, sorry, go on, Nick.
I'm not a fan of them at all for resumes or for any kind of, these are my skills type things. The reason being that, what you consider to be proficient in JavaScript, for example, a recruiter might consider to be beginner, or vice versa. Additionally, your understanding and assessment of your own ability is not going to be the same as somebody else's understanding and assessment of your ability. I'm much more in favor of letting my work speak to my ability level, rather than assigning an arbitrary metric to what I think my skill level is at.
Yeah, so using that as an example, you've written Bulgarian, not like, I'm assuming 90%, and English, I don't know, say 60, 70%. And that's just, so different to different people. So for me, if you're, I guess, in your first language is Bulgarian, why is it only 90%? And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just, I think it gives the wrong impression. Like, so everyone watching, do you think my English is okay, is good? If I said I only spoke English 90%, would you think that'd be odd? If I said 100%, that's still quite odd, though, I think. So the progress, I don't know. I think it's hard, because if you said Bulgarian 100% and then English 70%, then I would think your English is 70% as good as your Bulgarian. But then you could never be 100% at any language, right? There's always so many words and phrases and things to pick up. I don't know. I think progress is hard. I would say something like Bulgarian, what's the word? Native, and then English, whatever you want to say, good, excellent.
Proficient.
That's the word. Thank you, Nick. You can see Nick's English is excellent, and Eddie's is a bit percentage-wise, 70% on a good day. I see lots of messages going on in the chat. This is awesome. Keep it going, everyone. Chat between you. This is epic. I really want to encourage collaboration. And if I've missed anything, do tag me, and I will hopefully notice it better, just like Siddharth has just done. So let's have a look. What else have we got? I think the only thing I would say about this template is these round squares. That makes no sense, Eddie. Round squares. Okay, let me do a fail sound. Try again. There we go. Yeah, these round circles, I think, take up a lot of space. And so, I don't know. I feel they take up too much space. I like the idea of it. I just think if they can be made... Yeah, and like, for example, you got from sept dot, and then May, I guess, is not abbreviated, so it doesn't have a dot. So yeah, I just think a bit of consistency around that. Either you abbreviate or you don't. Yeah, it's a hard one. Again, just comes down to consistency, I suppose. Work experience. I would love to see a description. I think... we saw the previous resume had a lot of text. I think you've maybe gone a little bit the other way with not enough text. I would love to see that. Even just one sentence about what it is, more about it, I think would be good. Yay, we're on there. Awesome. We need a sound effect. Victory. That's awesome. Hey, that's made my day. Thank you very much. Awesome. That's really cool.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you here. So yeah, I would just say try and explain each one of these, and then also it would align. I mean, I'm not a designer or anything like that, but it would just, this is not centered with the circle, and so if you put one line underneath it, it would make sense that it would look more centered, like vertically. I would feel. What does everyone else think in the chat? Let's have a look. Oh, I got tagged. Maybe increase the contrast too. I think you're into the design a lot more than me. So potentially, yeah. I mean, you can do, I think, a contrast test. There are web platforms where you can mention your colors and it will tell you if it's contrast enough. I think, yeah, more contrasting is better. Again, these progress bars, I don't know, teamwork. You said like 70%. That would worry me. Even though you're great at teamwork and there are people who would put 100% and are not even half as good as you, but it would just be that impression. So again, yeah, I would put it as maybe not assets, but maybe as, I don't know, I hate the word soft skills because they're quite hard, but just, I don't know,
It's
other skills. What was that, sorry?
It's just a skill.
Yeah, it's just a skill.
It's a skill.
Exactly.
I list that. I list my tech stack and then I list my skills. And the tech stack are the languages and frameworks and all that I use, and the skills are anything that is relevant to the job, whether it be considered a soft skill or a hard skill.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it should be named the other way around, because teamwork, collaboration, etc., I think is harder, because you've got to work with different people. They all have different sense of humor. They all have different working styles. So that's why I think, yeah, the naming is a bit odd. It's a skill, definitely. I love that. I'm going to use that from now on. And sense of humor, I wouldn't put that in. To me, that seems like a bit of a joke. I don't know what everyone thinks in the chat, but I see that as a negative. No matter what progress percentage you put, 0, 50, 100, just having that in makes me think, this person is taking something seriously and making it as a joke. I like to think I'm a, fun person, but just on a CV, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right. If you had that on your GitHub profile, on your customized profile, I think that's fine. But on a CV,
I think that really depends on the company. That's the type of thing that would make you look good if you work at Discord, where they're all about doing ridiculous things, but would probably get you thrown out of Apple.
Yeah, that's true.
One of those excellent examples of tailoring your resume to the company.
That's very true, which I'm used to be very bad at as well. But it's just tailoring it slightly. Like you might swap that out if you're going to somewhere more serious. You might swap that out for something else. And if you're going somewhere more fun, yeah, like Nick says, Discord, you might leave that in. Hitesh, yes, you could definitely join our community. Go to eddyhub.org and there'll be links to GitHub organization, Discord, and so forth. Definitely join. We're great to have you there. I like to see this all the same. GitHub first as well. Yes. I'd probably have those at the top, to be honest. I'd want to see your GitHub at the top. Again, this is my personal preference. I would maybe somehow try and get it up, use this white space up here. Again, I know this was on a service or a template, and I'm not a designer. I would like to see those at the top, because those are actually the first things that I want to see first. Like, what do you talk about on Twitter? Do you talk about, really like technical things, or really kind of really bad political things that, people might not want to be associated with, and so forth? So I do look at people's Twitter, even though it is related a bit to your work and not, and people use it very differently. And again, the progress bars. So skills, I like that you said Git, GitHub, Python, etc. But yeah, the progress bars, I would probably list them in order. You've listed them in order already, but I mean like GitHub, GitHub, comma, Python, comma, HTML. So it shows the most important ones first is what I would suggest. What does everyone else think in the chat? Let's have a look. How to EddyHub community. I'm guessing 017, how to join the EddyHub community. Go to eddyhub.org. and there should be links, everything you need there. If anything is confusing, raise an issue on the website repo. You'll get a green square for today, and we can make improvements for the next person, or you can make the improvements for the next person. So that's why I love people who are new to a project to review it and see if they understand it. And it's actually one of the interview questions I give them. I try and give them access to one of the client's repos and say, what do you think of this? And I want to see, do they just kind of kiss butt and say, oh, it's amazing, it's great, it's awesome? And I'm like, well, I need someone who's going to give constructive feedback. And I do also give them usually a bad issue that we've purposely written badly and say, what do you think of this? Does it make sense? What would you do differently? Because I want to see if they, be honest and say, I don't know, how they would ask questions. We get them to put a reply on it. And also I get them to raise an issue and say, look, we've got a bug, or have you got an idea? As they're reviewing the project, please raise the issue. And I want to see how they raise the issue. Do they just put 2 words in the title and hit click, which makes sense to them and me there and then, but a week later we'd both forget what it meant, and anyone who wasn't there, it wouldn't make any sense. So yes, definitely always try and give context. But Alex, I think this looks good. I like it. I think with some little tweaks you could definitely take it up a few notches, but I do like it. And you've got a cool picture as well. Cap and sunglasses. Epic. I'm just trying to think.
Thanks for the review, and thank you for all the comments in the chat regarding my resume. I'll definitely will take a look at it and change it a bit.
Yeah, have a go. Make some tweaks. Let us know what you think. I mean, if you don't like the suggestions and you don't have to do it, this is definitely yours. One last one. I would probably put skills first, because you've kind of, like a video on YouTube, you've got, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds to capture someone. And same with the CV. I don't know what the time metric is, but if I'm looking at this, I'm like education, work experience. They might not even make it down to skills. So I would put skills first. And they go, right, they have got Python, for example, if you're going for a Python role. Right, let me read more, because they've ticked that box and my kind of, my ears are up. That's a terrible expression, but you kind of sparked my interest to find out more. I think have that first, because if they see work experience, you've got Python developer up here, but it doesn't stand out as much. As my personal opinion. Countries you've traveled to, I think it's nice to have that if you've got space. I think in the near future, eventually that will probably, bump off as either you go to more places or you get other things to go on there as well. But it's good to fill it at the moment and to show, a bit of a rounder side of a person. So that's good. What have I missed in the chat? Question, call to action at the end or at the beginning? For example, email number. Call to action. That's a good point. I think, I never really thought of that, actually. This is why I love these discussions with you all, because I always learn so much too. Why not? I'm just going to use Alex's CV as an example because that's what's in front of me. But you're right. At the bottom, or you could have, so GitHub here, you've got your GitHub username, and that will be github.com/, etc. and so on. But you could write at the bottom, check me out on GitHub, and then again have the full link with it clickable. I think that could be a really good idea to have a call to action. I've been writing client proposals today for projects. I could maybe do something like that. So thank you very much for that tip. That's awesome. I see we have Jay joining us as well. How you doing, Jay?
Yeah, Eddie, I'm doing great. Actually, I think the next one is mine.
Oh, it is yours. Yeah, cool.
Thanks.
Is it safe for me to click? Have you removed your bank details, your PIN code, and all that stuff?
I have removed my bank details. I think my CVV is still there.
Okay, good. Right. My first impression, and again, this is my personal opinion. I don't know what everyone else thinks in the chat. I like it that people are making some suggestions as well to Alex's resume as well. I say CV sometimes, I mean resume. So I love that. That's teamwork, that's collaboration. Everyone who's watching, don't forget, give the video a thumbs up. It really helps support the channel. I appreciate it. Okay, so my first impression, it's quite text heavy. And I think you need a bit more space, I suppose, and maybe a different color. That's my first impression. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just my first impression. Like if you were buying a car and it turned up like dirty for you to look at it, it hasn't devalued the car. The car has still got the same amount of miles on it, the same years old and all that stuff. But it's just your first impression. If it turns up really shiny and the sun gleams off it, you're like, okay, let's find out more. So just my first impression that it's very text heavy is all I would say. Maybe it's a bit more white space and so forth.
Yeah, actually, the resume had, like the template had more white spaces. I just removed it while I was trying to fit in more content. I need to decide which content I need to delete to like add white space. Yeah.
It is hard, and it is really, really hard. Oh, has someone, let me see. Cass, I'm writing comments in the issues as well. Oh my God, that needs a sound effect. That is epic. That is awesome, and I'm gonna bring that up on the screen as well. Just want to say, you rock. I love that. Kaz, can you do me one last favor? Could you DM me on Discord? I never recommend people to do that, and I'll send you our swag sign up link. I'm not giving away swag today, but I love that so much. I want to send you some swag. I'll send you some GitHub stickers and some other bits and pieces. So DM me later on, and I'll get to you to fill in your details so I can send it across to you. So that's epic. Thank you so much. Love that, because we'll lose it in the Discord chat, in the YouTube chat, or me chatting, but in the GitHub it remains. So I love that. You got dates. I think that's really good, and you got it in bold, stands out. You got your results, which I think is really good. So education first, work experience. I would probably put, I don't know, I say work experience at the top, because I just value work experience more than education, and same with projects as well. I do value that more, but again, it's just my personal opinion, so I'm not saying definitely do this. It's just my thoughts. And again, this is my opinion. I'm not a UX or UI person. I don't like the font. I'm not really precious on fonts. I know people are really passionate about fonts. I'm not. But the reason why I don't like this font is because it reminds me of a typewriter, and I just feel that it dates it a bit. That's my only opinion. So any font you want, not a typewriter font.
Yeah, actually, this is from a latex.
See,
template.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to change any format and stuff like that. So I'm trying to learn and make edits as I go, but yeah.
I love that, using latex. I mean, that's a big thumbs up. Let's give you a bit of a level up as well. I mean, that is epic, and I think you should probably put that as one of your projects as well. Let me see. Do you have it? See, I would personally put that as one of your projects, because if I saw someone said, like down here, let's just take Yelp Camp. You said, I don't know, CV written in latex with a link to it, and a bit of a description why or what you're doing with it. I think they'd be like, wow, okay, this person is taking open source and coding to the next level. So I would highly recommend that. I think that's a massive thumbs up to be doing yours. So it is a lot harder to do those sorts of things in latex, but once you're there, it's just really impressive. So I've got to give you a massive thumbs up to doing this in latex. And if I had some negative thoughts at the beginning from my first impression about this, they've all gone now because you've written it in latex. So I would even maybe, someone said I had a call to action, I would maybe, it's entirely up to you, squeeze in a line underneath your socials that says CV written in latex, and then here's a link to the GitHub repo. Because for me, I'd be like, right, I want to read more. For me, that's the hook. I would love that. I think that's awesome.
That's a good idea. I can try that. Yeah.
And then programming languages and technical skills, I would definitely move that to the top. Wow, we've got loads more people joining. Thank you all. Let's have a drum roll for all these new people that are joining. Thank you so much. This is epic. If you want your resume reviewed in the future, you can raise an issue. Make sure you remove all your private stuff and you'll get a green square for raising an issue. But thank you so much. Don't forget, give this video a thumbs up, as Nick has said, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell button so you get notified. Right, what does everyone else think? Let me catch up on the chat. Use bullet points to explain projects. Yeah, it's kind of listed without the bullet points. Maybe a bullet point will help them stand out a bit more, I suppose, or slightly reduce the font size. I know it's in bold, but yeah, you want to make it much easier for people, definitely. But, you know, being in LaTeX, I think once you make tweaks, you can just repeat it so easily, which is awesome. And then you can, I suppose, customize it for different people a lot easier, which I think is just epic. Really, really good. Do you how do you build this from LaTeX? Do you have it on a GitHub action? Do you run it locally?
Yeah, I use overleaf.com. Yeah, actually I got the resume template from there. I tweaked it a little bit, changed titles and headings, like subsections basically. Yeah, there were more subsections originally in this template.
If you could do it, getting to build the PDF with a GitHub action, which I don't think would be too hard to do. I think when someone visits, like if you put a line here, resume written in LaTeX,
Right, yeah.
and then when they go see that you've got a GitHub action and so forth, I think you'll just stand out so far, because that shows CI, CD, and if you can get the PDF to be saved as an asset on GitHub Actions or something like that, so it's downloadable, or on GitHub Pages or something, again, I think that would be awesome. It'd be really, really good.
Yeah, I think I might have it on my GitHub as a GitHub repo, this LaTeX file. It might not be updated, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Alan says, "Oh no, Yelp cam." I don't know what that is, so sorry, but you don't seem too happy about it. Maybe you could keep the Sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's actually a very standard project. I should
Okay.
remove it probably, but yeah, I should. It's like a project from a course.
Okay.
And yeah.
I like this suggestion. I do this as well, and I didn't even realize I did it. Keep the latest education and delete the rest to give you more space. I do that. I do that with my work experience. And so I have like my last 3, or this was back in the day when I needed a resume, but I used to have that the most recent 3. So that's a really good idea. I really like that. So Avinash, great suggestion. Thank you very much. I think, yeah, if you're running out of space, keep the most recent one, or your favorite projects. Like maybe you don't need 4, maybe you need 2 or 3, but the ones that are your most favorite for whatever reason.
Yeah, right. I think the education line, yeah, I can remove the last 2 ones. Yeah.
Awesome. We got a question. I'm not sure if I should add this to resume because it is a template. Tagged Nick, Ayush. If you could elaborate on what you mean.
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer, but I think
Sure.
I'm missing some context there.
Yeah, please do. Oh, you're missing context as well. Sorry.
I'm missing context. Yeah.
I thought you said, I'll answer because I've got context. And I'm like, no, Eddie, that's not what Nick said. Some good questions, Jay, from WebDev. I don't know if you're able to answer on audio or typing, entirely up to you. I love what Alex just wrote. Sorry, carry on, Jay.
Which questions exactly? Yeah.
The question was, Web Dev Junkie was saying about the bullet points and about the education. Is that you in elementary school and stuff like that?
Yeah, actually, yeah. The top one is the college, which I'm doing, yeah. And the below one is like the high school, not exactly high school, 11th and 12th standard. And the rest is like from pre-nursery to 10th, which is like how basically it's divided in India.
Okay.
Education, if in resumes, yeah.
I noticed, I think someone mentioned, I lost it where it is now, Web Dev Junkie said about bullet points. And I wasn't too hung up on bullet points, but then seeing now that you've got bullet points down here, again, it just seems inconsistent. So I would be consistent. If you're going to use bullet points, maybe use them. Yeah, just a little bit more spacing. So maybe you do need to remove a little bit of stuff. But yeah, the latest education, I think, is a great idea. I mean, the rest isn't so important.
Yeah, that will definitely add a lot of more space. Give me a lot of space. Yeah.
Awesome. But I like that. Let's just bring up your GitHub, because I know you collaborated with Karuna and ViViV, and I know you're on my other channel already with a video. So that's awesome. You got some organization. I don't do a GitHub review today, but you've got organizations there, which I think looks good. R1, anyone watching, if you want to join our GitHub organization, you just need to raise an issue on our support repo with the issue type, invite me to organization, and a GitHub action will send you an invite. I'm not a fan of profile views, personally. When I see that, I'm just not too impressed.
Do me a favor and refresh that page like 3 times and see if the number goes up.
It probably
It has, yeah, it's gone up. Yeah. It has gone up. So that's why I think it can be faked with a bot or something. The other thing I would say, last thing on your GitHub profile, is try and spread the green squares out. Like, you've got some days that are really dark. If you can spread it out a little bit more, it just looks a bit healthier, I suppose, is my only suggestion.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it a bit a habit to get at least 1 square a day.
Yeah, I mean, you got some days of like 15 and so forth. There's maybe, it just seems like those are more like you went to a hackathon or something. And so if you spread it out, again, it doesn't have to be every day. It looks a bit more professional, right? It's first impressions. I mean, if you look at mine isn't perfect. I mean, we won't look at Nick's because we all feel bad and cry, but I just think I had a gap here. I had some personal issues. If anyone ever asked me about that, I could explain. But it's just a little bit more spread out. And I've got some days that have too much as well, like 43. I think that's just crazy. But we might have had a live stream or hackathon on that day or something. So yes, I'll drop this in the chat if anyone wants to drop me a follow on GitHub as well. Wow, we hit 73, someone said. I think that's the biggest live stream I've had. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. 75 according to YouTube stats that I see behind the scene. Behind the scenes. Can I show you behind the scenes? Let me see. So if you look, wait a second, there, it says 75, but it's really small, so you probably won't be able to see it. And you're all over here. So thank you all so much. But do give the video a thumbs up. I really appreciate your support. Jay, we're going to say bye to your profile and we're going to go on to the next one. And thank you so much for submitting it.
Hey, Eddie.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to horrendously butcher this name, but let me find it again here. Srikaran has updated the link on their resume if we want to loop back and hit that.
Sure, let's do it. Find it here. Okay, I hope there's no private information on it. Okay, perfect. There isn't. Awesome. What does everyone think of this one? Write in the chat and let us know. Okay, let's have a look. Education. Yep, it's spaced out. It's good. First impressions are nice. The font is fine for me. It's not like a typewriter font. Sorry, Jay. And I like the colors. It looks good. I would probably put experience above the education. Again, for me, education isn't like a high importance. Experience is more. Okay. And again, skills, I think. Probably skills, experience, projects, then education. But you've got languages. Lots of languages. 2 lines. I wonder if you could break that up somehow, like primary or secondary or something, just because, I don't know, it makes it a bit hard to read. If you could, break it up a little bit, I would suggest doing that. Maybe Python gets its own line because it's got all these extra brackets. However you want to lay out, I think try something and we can have a look again. Tools and frameworks. I think that looks good. And then you've got your projects. You haven't got links to these, so it would be good to link to them, but maybe they're private client projects. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to butcher the name as well. Sri Karan is in the chat, so it'd be really interesting to know. You're welcome to join on audio if you want, but it'd be really good to know. So go on.
They did not have the Team Eddie role, and they just pinged me to ask if they could join. So I've granted them the role, and let's get them.
Perfect.
Let's get them in.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you very much, Nick. That's awesome. It would be great to hear from them to hear more about this. Do you all want to hear from them? Let's have a drum roll. Let's see.
Here we go.
Avinash, I can look at Eddie set up all day. They're in. How do we pronounce your name?
I'm in. Sorry?
How do we pronounce your name?
It's Sri Karan Srinath, but feel free to call me Karan if that's easier.
Karan. Okay, yes, that's much easier. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I don't want to get it wrong.
No worries, no worries.
Thank you so much for submitting your resume.
Thank you so much for reviewing it. About the education, the only reason I put it up top first was because I'm applying to fresh grad roles, and the recruiter told me that they wanted to see exactly when I'm graduating to see if I'd made a good fit for the role. Yeah.
Got
Just
you.
to clarify that.
I suppose. Yeah, if they know the role better, see, I would definitely say never listen to recruiters. I mean, I will listen to them and take it on board, and then you everyone listening, you make a decision if you think it's good. But if they're working particularly with a client or of theirs about this, working directly with this company, they will know, well, they should know how they like to review and what their style is. So their recommendation of putting education first, that company might value education at the utmost, so maybe that makes sense. So that's just my opinion. So thanks for clarifying that.
What else? What do you think about the rest?
So I think it's good. I'm not a big reader, so I do like how you've broken this down into bullet points. I think my technical writer would probably say write it into a paragraph. But for me personally, bullet points, I'm short on time. I don't like to read. I'm really short on time. Bullet points, boom, boom, boom. Just, read them like that. So that's really good. So I think that's great.
I'm trying to attract attention to the numbers. 200 employees, 50% increase, 15 hackathon winning teams, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the metrics is good. It gives context. Because when people say, I deployed an amazing app, it went out to a huge group of people. Well, a huge group of people doesn't make any sense, because I've had clients who say, we've got big data, we need Hadoop, we need all this stuff. And then you find out they've got a 1 gig database that could run on my iWatch. So, it's great that you actually quantify it and give it context. So I think that's really good. So that's great.
Yeah.
I guess my next question.
Else? Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I noted your point about the language is going to 2 lines, and I'll split it up.
Okay, perfect. Yes. And I guess my next question would be, these projects, are they on GitHub? Could you link to them, or are they all private?
One of them is not a coding project. The first one is not a coding project. I put it there specifically to highlight community participation. And the second and third, yes, I need to link both of those.
Yes, link those. Definitely. That's like
yes.
Level up sound effects. Definitely. You would definitely level up by doing that. Okay. Leadership, achievements, mentoring, and social work. And you've got dates, which is good. Okay. And you've got, are these links? These aren't links. Okay,
there's for most of those things, there's no link to see or validate any of those. So a couple of those I could, but yeah.
Okay, I maybe wouldn't put them in blue because I got excited that I could click on them.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And everything is in bold, I think. So what I would suggest is maybe put this in bold rather than blue, because in my point of view, it just feels like a link. I don't know if what everyone else thinks in the chat. Let us know. Did you think these were links? Did you think they were clickable? I'll be interested to know what people think, because it is good to make things stand out, but I would then not have the whole line in bold. I would probably have depending on which one you want to stand out more, one of them in bold and one of them not is what I would suggest.
Yes, that makes sense.
Awesome. Okay.
There were links as well, yeah.
You thought the links as well? Okay. Yeah, I think, it does give the impression that they're links. We've had some comments in the chat that says it's quite text heavy. I do agree. If there's something you can do to make it less text heavy, I think it would make it pop more as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the answer is, but maybe you can get some ideas from templates. I'm not saying to use some templates, but maybe you can get some ideas from templates.
Yeah, that's a little bit more of a difficult task, but I don't need to do that. I see it.
And let's have a quick look at your GitHub. Everyone knows. Aha, Karen, you have said. Perfect. Again, with the profile picture, I think if you could have a picture of you, make it look more professional. So if someone is checking out your LinkedIn, your GitHub, I know we haven't got any physical events at the moment, but if you go to a physical event, they can recognize you. Or if when you're on a call and it says like 3, 4, 5 people on the call, they'll kind of like remember, that person was the person who had that great GitHub or something like that. So that's what I would just personally suggest. I've updated it. Okay. But look at this. This green is spread out. So the green, I think, is kind of similar to mine. I'm around 2,200. But what I really like is yours is better than mine. It is more spread out. And I think that looks really, really good.
Thank you.
The only other thing I would say, and this goes for everybody, so actually I'm glad this came up. This is really important. I'd be interested to know what people think. Actually, before I say this, let me just check the chat. Anush says his dev script, Winter of Code. Yes. Let's have it. Manish has got a question for you as well. Karen, I'll let you answer.
I've already done that. There's a bit of a lag in the chat.
Okay. And then Akshu says, is there an alternative to man hours? It sounds a bit clunky for someone. Yes. We say people hours. I don't, it's not man hours, it's people hours. Yeah, it makes more sense. You're right. Thanks for picking that up. You can run, your CV through things like Alexa.js, which will pick up on all those things, which companies are noticing now because they do want people who do have, inclusive terminology. So we have this in our bot and Discord, but you could do like an online demo. So you could copy and paste your text a chunk at a time and see if it gives any suggestions. So highly recommend people doing that.
What's the website called again?
Alexa.js. Let me, I'll paste it into the chat as well for everyone else. Thanks for clarifying. Awesome. Yes, so 017, Ariyaman, I can't pronounce your name, I'm really sorry, but 017 has pointed out what I was going to mention, 98% commits. Unfortunately, I don't see that as impressive. I see that as actually as a negative, because that means you're raising commits where you're not raising issues, you're not doing code reviews for anyone, and you're not raising pull requests. So to me, this seems like either you've written a bot just to make lots of commits to get the green squares, or
it was mostly for personal projects and organization repositories that it was given right access.
Okay.
Small startup when I was the only person working on it.
Sure, I would still raise issues for things you're doing. It's good practice because people want to see that. I think issues are more important than commits, because then when you do a commit, you can put the issue number in the commit message if you use conventional commit, and it ties it all together. Again, it just shows that whole professional part. You don't have to raise a pull request if it's just you on the project, although try, even if the other people are less technical, maybe you could try and raise a pull request. They might not review it, but they might not even take a look. But again, just keeps people in the loop a lot more. And on some open source project, do some code reviews. I mean, I think, is it Alan? Is it your GitHub profile that this looks really impressive? Because if I remember correctly, Alan's one of our mods. So everyone do go check out Alan's GitHub as well. I will share it in the chat. But if I remember correctly, if you look, code reviews, and to me that implies this person collaborates. They're not just thinking about getting their stuff reviewed, they're also reviewing other people's stuff. So to me, I feel that's really important. And I feel that's more important than, like, if you look at Alan's got, I don't know, a third less green than you, and even half a year without much green. But if I saw this graph underneath and saw 28% code review, I would think that'd be more important than 2,000 commits and loads more green. Again, just my point of view, and I'm just sharing that.
Yeah, that completely makes sense.
So we do.
Thank you so much.
No problem at all. It's great work. I'm not trying to, like, put you down or anything. You're doing an awesome job, awesome work. That's just unfortunately lets down your awesome work, is all I'm trying to say. So Nick, keep me in check if I'm not being positive. But
no, I need the feedback. That's what matters.
And we have lots of people reviewing our project. So if we go to our GitHub organization, EddieHub, let me bring it up on the screen. EddieHub, which you all can join, by the way. We're almost at 500 members. We all want you to join. But you can go to any repository and any pull request. Let me pick one and pick an older one and see. 4 days ago. And you will see multiple people have reviewed this. So Nick's approved it. Yeah. Alan's approved it. John's approved it. And not all these people are maintainers on this project, but you can still review it. And that adds value to the person's pull request if you leave a comment or approve it or whatever you do. But also it improves your profile as well. And I think it just shows, because one thing that you've probably heard me and the community say all the time, it's collaboration first, code second. And I'm just going to repeat why, not just for you, you've probably heard it before, but for new people who are here, because we are at around 70, I think, viewers, and it's amazing. So thank you all so much. Give the video a thumbs up. But the reason why we say collaboration first, code second, is because we raise an issue first, usually. If it's your project, somebody else's project, doesn't really matter. You raise an issue first, and that's to start the conversation and to collaborate on. And then you raise the pull request, which is a bit of code or documentation, etc. But then the pull request is still starting the conversation on the changes that have been made. So it's kind of like a collaboration sandwich. Collaboration, changes, I didn't say code, said changes, and then collaboration again. So collaboration is more important. So yeah, if you can highlight that on your GitHub profile and you've highlighted that on your CV already, I think this is great. You've done so many things. This is, stands out a lot. So I think that's really, really good. I would probably maybe reduce the list because no one's going to read all of it. I would probably say pick your favorite ones or your most recent ones. And then you could have a line at the end, like say if you stopped here, for example, the next line, sorry DevScript, but the next line could be plus 9 more available on request. So if people said, what are they, you could provide them. I do that with my experience when I do, I think I do the last 3. I don't really do my CV anymore, as I mentioned before, but I do my 3 and I have a line saying call to action again that someone mentioned in the chat, more available on request, because most people don't ask for it. So to leave your best ones on there or the most recent ones, whatever's more important to you.
Also, I've noticed that there are many mentors positions and activities. Maybe group them in one, and as Eddie said, more reach me out and have, for example, mentor on Major League Hacking, DevScript, and so on, online. And if you understand what I'm saying, to group the categories.
I'm going to give that a level up sound. I agree. Grouping together will make it easier and break up the big blocks. So you could say mentor that and then list a few of your mentors. Well, not say all of them. I agree. Really nice. Yes, and Siddharth says less repeated words. Like you could say mentor as a subtitle and then list the ones under there. And then you could...
Yeah,
it just makes it cleaner. A really, really nice suggestion. Great. Another sound effect. Thank you, Siddharth. That's awesome. Love that. Teamwork. Awesome. If I've missed any important comments in the chat, please just copy and paste them back in. I'm really sorry. I'm going to try and get better at those. I love you all for being here. Really appreciate it. Let's keep going. We're going for almost an hour and a half, and I'm just super excited. We'll go on for a little bit longer because you all rock. With like 70 people here. I think this is one of my best streams with people. So that is epic. So obviously this is interesting for you. Although the stream on Friday did quite well as well when we were starting a new client project, but that's a different conversation. We'll leave it for another time. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, Karen. Thank you again so much for submitting it.
That was very helpful.
I look forward to seeing version 2.0.
Yes, and I will post that as an issue on the organization again.
Perfect. Thank you. That's great.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. I need to go through and close these once I've reviewed them.
I took care of it.
Oh, Nick. Okay, you need a victory sound effect for Nick. I mean, that is just epic. Love that. See, everyone, it's about adding values, not about code. Love that. Thank you so much, Nick. So I can refresh this and I can find out exactly where I am. Wow. Love that. Okay. I'm going to open this.
Also a big shout out to Cassie that is putting comments in these issues.
Yes. We'll give you 3 buzzers. Can I press it again? Make a noise. There we go. 2. We'll give you 1 more. Cass, thank you very much. And we're going to get some swag to you as well. Okay, please have no private data. Please have no private data. Okay, good. I don't think this is their phone number or their email address. If it is, that's pretty cool. Okay, here we go. First impression. I don't think the name's ABC, but it's good. I like it. First impression. What's that thing?
That's a great name. ABC XYZ.
You could maybe put like hello world. First name hello, second name world. But I like that it's got, you know, a 1 line underneath it, kind of highlights. I think that's great. But we know their name already because we can see it from here. But Akshat, thank you so much for submitting it. If you want to join audio, you can as well. You're all welcome. Even if your CV or resume has not been joining and you want to practice your public speaking for a couple of minutes, jump on the live stream and say hi to the community. It'd be awesome to have you here. Radio Eddie. We're trying to coin that term.
Trademark it.
So, sorry, Nick.
Trademark it.
Copyright it. Yeah. Ding. And if you want to grow your network, we talked about personal brand, or someone mentioned personal brand. If you want to grow your network and you want to get into my network space, one thing I suggest doing, take a screenshot of the live stream and share it on socials, and I'll like it. But if you want me to reshare it so you can get access to my LinkedIn network, my Twitter network, and all the rest, add value, just like Cass is doing to the GitHub issues. Add value by taking a screenshot of the live stream and maybe saying, I learned this tip about writing a resume. I'll do it on my next, I'll update my resume, or whatever you want to write, but share something that adds value. So if you're going to say, I'm going to update my resume, then that's nice and I will like it. But if you say why or what your change on your resume, then someone who didn't attend the live stream will go, oh, that's a great point. I should do that too. So you're adding value to my network. So then I'll reshare it. Then someone in my network will also reshare it. You see where I'm going with this? And that's how you grow your followers on LinkedIn and Twitter, etc. and so on. I like this. 2 columns, narrow column down the left of skills, really good. I suppose the only downside is you waste a bit of white space here because these are a bit long. But, you know, and this goes over onto 2 lines. Maybe shrink the font ever so slightly so this doesn't go on 2 lines. I think this looks a bit weird. It makes it like you want that one to stand out more. I don't know if you mean to or not. Maybe you do. Maybe community development is your thing and you want it to stand out. Co-founder of Equicode. Oh, I did not know that. Drum roll. Don't know drum roll to what, but yeah, that's awesome. We're all Equicode fans here. as we had our community call on Saturday. Awesome. So education first, again, and I mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of putting education first. I would put work experience first because that would have impressed me more. Maybe a link to Echo Code and so on, I think would be good. I think it would be really helpful. Make it easier, like with an issue or a pull request, make it easy for the person reading it. So rather than me grabbing that, copying and pasting it, Googling it, is there some other result that comes up as well because it's the same name? Make it easier for someone else. But yeah, really good, like it. Volunteer experience, also good. Some date order. Maybe add like, I mean, you've written a bit more here. These just look a bit kind of neglected. I mean, maybe that explains it all, but maybe you could talk a bit more about what you did, or what does social media manager mean, or organizing core team. Is that project management? Because these things mean different things to different people. And so if I'm looking for something in particular, like let me give a technical coding example. Bear with me here, everyone. And I would love to hear your examples in the chat as well. And I see the chat moving, and I want to catch up in the chat in a second. But if you imagine you were looking to hire someone for your open source project, that's all of you I'm talking here, all of you. And let's pick an example. Say you use JavaScript and you also used React because React's very popular. Everyone uses it apart from me. Then if someone wrote on their CV JavaScript, you're going to be like, well, okay. But if they wrote JavaScript with React, you're going to be like, right, it's exactly what I need. So my point is, if you've written, like this person's written social media manager, I might think, okay, we need a social media manager, but we need a social media manager that specializes in infographics on Instagram. I don't know. But by adding it more specific, I think you add value to that position. And if they wanted a different platform or a different whatever, I don't think it devalues that. So I just think it's important to add more. Radio Eddie Op. Thank you all. Love you all. That's awesome. Thank you so much. You even got Nick doing the op now. That deserves definitely a victory. So awesome. Thank you all. We've got over 70 viewers according to my stats on YouTube here, so that's awesome. All of you give the video a thumbs up. It helps support the channel. I really appreciate it. And let me know in the chat what your thoughts are of general, like resume review. Is this good? Should we try and do this like 1-2 times a month? And what you think of this resume as well. And look at that, cool Kaz. Awesome. Oh, sorry, was that Alex?
I'd like to point out something, Eddie. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Generally, when you're using two-column resumes, I found this out the hard way. If you're going to submit it through an online application, the ATS system, the applicant tracking system that passes your resume, it's going to rip it to shreds. It'll lose almost all meaning. So in general, it's advisable to have a single-column resume when applying to jobs online.
That's a good point. And I didn't even think to mention that because I'm going on the kind of me receiving it. But you're absolutely right. A lot of these recruiters use a platform that will try and make it searchable, and yeah, they could destroy it. That's a really good one.
Maybe I'll link to a resume parser in the chat, so people can input their resume and then check out what it looks like when it comes out the other end.
Got you. That's a good idea. And thank you very much, Siddharth. Monthly resume. So we could do monthly resume review, monthly open source review. Maybe we can keep that going. Let me know in the chat if you want one or the other or both. So write open source review, resume review, or open source, comma, or / resume review, and we'll see what we can do. So let us know in the chat, but that's awesome. Maybe as a suggestion for that, people, if they're going to email their CV to someone, then, or drop it in a LinkedIn message, then maybe have a 2-column one if it looks nicer and that's what they want. But if they're going to upload it, maybe try and convert it to a single column to avoid, any confusion. Because it's a bit like YouTube titles and descriptions. We want to fill it so the algorithm picks up on GitHub, open source, etc. But then it is a human reading at the end of the day, and that's why it's just finding that balance as well. And these projects, I'd love links to these projects to see if they are on GitHub or not. I don't know. That's what I would suggest. Just links. So if do we have Akshat in the chat? I don't know if we do. Much work, though, to write suggestions and feedback. Even a few bullet points, Cass, will be super, super helpful. So I think don't feel you have to try and capture everything, but just a few bullet points I think is really, really valuable. So that's great. Thank you. And we should actually put a link to, I don't know if Nick or someone's done this already, a link to this live stream when we close the issue. So therefore, if anyone wants to go and find it, yes, they'd have to scrub through and find the exact position. But if they did that, then that would be good. Okay, awesome. Right. Let's move on to the next one, I think. Hopefully that was helpful. Let's have a look. What have we got? Shall we? This is Cushies. We'll do Cushies as the last one. And then we'll catch up with these all in a couple of weeks. So, right. Drum roll, please. Cushy, come on audio. Karen, I think I'm going to say my bye to you so we can get Cushy on the audio.
Bye, goodbye. It was fun.
Thank you so much for joining on the audio as well as submitting your CV. I really appreciate it.
See you later.
Let me see Cushies. Okay. I'm looking at it on the other screen here. Shall I tell you what I'm seeing? Really nice of you, Cushy. You've put your bank details, your PIN code. That's great. Let me just make a little bit of a transfer. No, I'm just joking. Okay. Let's have a look. Shall I tell you what I'm seeing? Really nice of you, Cushy. You put your Cushy, can you mute the YouTube because I hear it?
Oh, right.
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome
I
to.
kind of left the YouTube stream open and I didn't mute that, so I hope that wasn't quite a disturbance to other people.
I'm sure it's fine. Leave it open so you can read the chat, but just mute it.
Right. I just muted it, so
Perfect.
I hope it's fine to other.
Yeah, no, all is good. So thank you so much for joining Radio Eddie. I'm still trying to, coin that term, see if it picks up.
Thank you for having me the second time. I'm so excited to be here.
It's awesome. Thank you for joining again. Okay, so my first impression, I don't feel this lines up, but it could be because you've reduced these.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fine. So we'll ignore that. This reminds me... Oh, sorry, go on.
That's kind of all well aligned, but because I reduced some of the links, so it's kind of like getting rid of that like that.
That's fine. We'll omit that. We'll skip that because I thought it might be the case. These grey blocks and text inside remind me of my CV a while ago. I used to do this as well. So it's really good to kind of see someone else doing it too. So, yeah, that's awesome. Again, going back to the suggestion that I can't remember whose it was. Was it Alex's or not? I can't remember. But the font, I'm not a huge crazy font person. But for me, the font is like a typewriter and just looks a bit kind of old is the only suggestion I would give. I think the font that you've used here just looks really clean and nice. So that's my only suggestion. But it's very personal to me, so you can just tell me to shut up and just ignore me. It's fine.
No, I do need the feedback, so it's fine. I'll do focus on that. But the reason I just chose this text and not chose any kind of services, the reason that Karan just told us because of the ATS thing, I kind of saw that coming, so that's why I tried to have a particular template ready for it. But yeah, I think we can do that.
Got you. Okay, awesome. Just to jump in with Tom. Tom says, can you review your own resume? I will. At the beginning of the stream, I don't know if you're around for it, I did say maybe I should get my resume. It's like 5 or 6 years out of date because I don't need a resume anymore, luckily. But yeah, we can do that, and you could all let me know what you think. You can all, rather than me review it, although I can review it now with like 5-6 years of learnings, but maybe you all can review it as well. So yes, I will submit that with an issue, and we can do that next time. I think that'd be a good kind of like drum roll to next time of doing that. Right. I hope I didn't miss too much else in the chat. I did say I was going to catch up. Cass says, why one section templates? As a graphic design student, we're going over to use a bar on the side or 2 section templates. I know I've missed some other questions. I'll come back to them in a second. Let me see. Does that make sense to anyone on audio? Kaz, I'm not sure if I follow. Why 1 section templates? Do you mean, are you talking about the previous resume? You're talking about this one? You're talking about the table? I'm not sure. Let us know and we'll come back to that. Mercy Pink, is it good to recreate university projects and put them on GitHub? I would create something different because it might be similar. Like if someone creates a blog post and someone creates a job board, a lot of it is very similar. You know, you're going to have the initial post, you're going to have potentially, I don't know, comments, reviews, you know, you're going to render markdown, but it's just you'll learn so much more by doing that, and no one can claim that you've just copied it from somewhere else, from like a university project. That's what I would suggest. I always find when I'm following a tutorial online, if they say, oh, we're going to do a job post, I might do an e-commerce, not with all the other advanced e-commerce stuff, but like the starting of it. So when they do a job post, I do a product post. And just by doing that, I just find I have to really think about it, and I learn so much. That's the only thing I would suggest. Hope I didn't miss too much in the chat. Okay.
I think about Kaz's question, it's about having maybe 2 columns or 1 column layout.
Okay. When we were speaking about it before, I think, yeah, I prefer reading 2 columns. It breaks it up for me. But when, yeah, Karen mentioned that the platforms that kind of extract information, they all kind of break, I suppose. Okay, let's have a look at this. I got a bit digressed. We'll come back to the chat in a minute. So keep writing in the chat. Keep writing? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so computer science and engineering 2023. My confusion here is, are we reading horizontally? Is that one line, yeah. Kushi? Okay, it is.
Yeah, it's horizontal. So basically, it's the degree and the graduation year or the completion year, and then the school, the university, and then what are the respective grades during that particular semester or academic. Okay,
I would probably suggest putting like maybe a column heading for each one. I don't know how that looks. This is my first impression now. When you add it, if you added it, I might not think it's a good idea, I suppose. But this kind of reads like bullet points put into a table.
I do agree to that.
It's my only thought. I wasn't sure if it was split in 2, so it was computer science engineering 2023, and then go read down and then go on to the next column, and then it talks about the next part. So yeah, I would just again make it really crystal clear for people, make it super clear. I think is important. But otherwise, no, it looks good. You know, I'm looking forward to the technical stuff. Again, education is never really high on my list. Work experience. So this to me is more interesting now. So I like this. And I like that it was a year work experience. When I see some things that are shorter, like a month, that's also fine. Some experience is a month, but a year, not a year, it's almost a year. Sorry, no, it's not. I'm reading it wrong. It's 3 months. September, October, November, 3-4 months. So again, that looks impressive. I would probably reorder it. I'd probably put the newest in the top. I think this is, present, so it's ongoing. Again, my personal preference, I would probably put it first.
Right. But I'm just noting all of these points. So yeah, go on.
But you've put, again, these are my suggestions. I think like with everything, I always say to everyone, don't ask for one mentor. Everyone is your mentor, and then take everyone's feedback and then you digest it and see what works best for your situation and so forth. So these are just my thoughts. Take the ones that sound interesting, ignore the ones that don't sound interesting. So I would, if it was me, I would just put the most recent one at the top. But then I do understand that this one, is probably quite impactful because it's a longer internship. But I would still put it in date order, I think, the newest at the top and work downwards.
Right, okay.
Publications. When I see publications, the first thing that comes to mind are dates. And I don't know if this is correct, but I'm pretty sure publications get a date. So I would probably put dates on those.
Okay.
And you've got a bullet point, but it's only one. So I would suggest maybe remove the bullet point. And same with these ones up here. Again, I'd have to see how it looked, but you could probably make that into just 2 sentences that follow on from each other.
Yeah, but also while watching the stream, I also noticed that maybe I can also add hyperlinks to the publications, because that would be great. People would be able to see my publication in the journal, and they would be able to get a better idea about whatever the research would.
I'm going to do a level up sound effect because you're just making it more real for someone. Like, imagine someone said, when you go on holiday next, you need to stay at this villa. It's the best villa in the world. It's amazing. It's great. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. Like all these buzzwords. But if there is a link to go see a picture of that villa or that car or whatever it is, it's just going to kind of just remember it so much more. So yes, even if you put a link and even if they just click it and just have a quick scan, it will just, they're more likely to remember. There might be some keywords or some titles that stand out. So I'll definitely recommend putting links to those. Links, big thumbs up. And projects, are these available on GitHub?
Some of these are, but actually I have been, so as I also mentioned, I have been in virtue of some of the projects right now. So some of these are like, I just mentioned 2 of them. A lot of them that I didn't mention are there on GitHub, but I didn't mention them on my resume. So maybe I can do that. Maybe I can do some kind of rearrangement and add some particular links.
Yeah, I think you've got a lot of great content here, and I think it's really impactful and it definitely stands out. I love that. But yeah, I think maybe just reordering it slightly could just take it to the next level. Like I've scrolled down and I've seen your skills at the bottom. For me, I would say put that near the top, if not even at the top. I just think, they're great that you've got these languages. I think that's brilliant. And then you've got, I wouldn't say miscellaneous skills. I don't know if you were here earlier where we were talking about public speaking.
Right.
I don't like the word soft skill because public speaking is really hard. And so I would maybe, if you want to separate them, I would just, don't know what you would put. Maybe you could have tech skills. Maybe you could just have skills or something like that, or miscellaneous. But my point is, these are really good. Like these will help you stand out straight away. And can you put a link to maybe some of your videos or live streams?
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. I can do that. I have some of them which are still recognized by a lot of people, and I can do that.
Awesome, because I find that with some of my clients in the past, they've messaged me and said, really want you to get on board and help us. And I messaged them back saying, sure, when do you want to organize like a meeting to discuss? It's like, no, when can you start? Because they've seen how I collaborate with people, they see how I speak, they see my work on GitHub or whatever it is. So I find that it just makes, they feel like they know you already, so it just makes that step so much easier. I know it comes back to the point of, using a profile picture. I know we're not talking about picture here, but by going to a video, they're going to see what you look like. But I don't see that as a negative. They're going to see that you're presentable and you're articulate and all the rest. So I think that only works in positive way. So yeah, I would definitely put a link to your YouTube channel, or to if you're really fond, it's even better. If you're really fond of a video in particular or a live stream, then I would definitely link to that one.
Right, but that's a brilliant idea. I would definitely add the links to my videos, streams, and some of the videos. That would be a great way.
Awesome. But yeah, I think I love the volunteer experience. I think, to me, people who sometimes do this, who don't put it on, or who don't do this, I just think this stands out so much. I think this is great. Again, can you put links to some of these? Like, I'm Remarkable Facilitator. Is there a link to that event just to get more information if someone wants context?
Right. So, yeah, I can do that. I feel the major problem with my resume is that I haven't given enough evidence and enough links to whatever I've done, and I feel giving that is equally important. So I'll focus on that, and I'll focus on the rearrangement a little bit.
Yeah, I think, it's really good. Like I said, you got so much amazing content here, done so many awesome things, just with a little bit of, rejiggery pokery. I don't know if that's a word or not, but you could really just take it to the next level. I think it's awesome. I think it's really good, and I love all this volunteer work as well. Again, so it is just one page, but if you wanted to make more space, not necessarily now, maybe in the future, maybe pick your best 3 or 4, and then say more or the latest 3 or 4, whatever you prefer, and then you could put a line saying for more available on request, and maybe in brackets how many you've got. Like if it's an impressive number, maybe more available 10 or whatever it is.
Okay. Yeah, I got that.
But yeah, that's epic. I can't wait to see the next version. I think it's really going to pop.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll do arrange it and I'll do give you the next version of it. Thank you so much for
Yeah, that would
having
be
me.
great. Thank you so much for sharing and joining. And I hope I wasn't too harsh. Nick, was I okay, or was I getting a bit harsh?
You did well.
Okay. I find when I get a bit hungry and thirsty, I got a water over there. I don't know why I'm not drinking it. That maybe I get a bit too harsh. So apologies, everyone.
No, I needed that feedback, so I think it's fine. It's fine, Eddie. It's
Okay.
no,
I'll
harsh.
accept it's fine from you and everyone else on one condition, that you all review my CV. So I will upload it to a GitHub issue, and you're all really harsh to me, and we can review it on a live stream as well, but it'd be great for people to put comments in and so forth as well. So I'll do that.
That would be a great idea, I think. We can be harsh on your resume, yes.
Perfect. That sounds good. But this looks really good. Thank you again so much for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
No worries. Bye.
All
Okay,
right, Eddie.
Oh, I've dropped my headphones. 1 second, I can't hear anything. Sorry, Nick. Technical problem. Well, I'm the problem, actually. Problem is between the keyboard and mic.
And chair.
Sorry, say that again.
I went ahead and locked the waiting channel. I have to take off and go get ready for another meeting.
Perfect.
But you've got Alex and Vi in here, who I'm sure would both love to say some stuff. So.
Awesome. We'll chat for a bit longer. Nick, thank you again so much. Everyone in the chat, right, thanks to Nick. And do go follow Nick on GitHub and see the awesome work he's doing. But say a big thank you to Nick in the chat, and we'll continue chatting for a bit longer. Thank you so much again, Nick. Have a great day.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the stream.
Cheers. Bye, Nick. Oh, a bit of sound effect from Nick. Here we go. Victory. Yes. Okay. Vi, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks for joining. What did you think of the resumes we saw so far?
They're great, and I've got some inspiration, so I'm finally building my own resume right now.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Inspiration. Yes. Level up sound effect. Cool. Well, I'm not going to review anymore because, as everyone can tell, I'm kind of flaking. But I want to catch up on some of the chat as well. What did I miss? Alex and Vi, I know you're in audio. What did I miss in the chat that we should pull out before we go? But Jay agreeing with us, put echo code at the top. Oh, sorry, Alex?
I don't really think you missed something. I've been looking at it, but...
Okay, cool.
Tom just said Terminator for Eddie's resume.
Alarm sound effect. Terminator's coming. I missed a question. Siddharth's written one. According to me, let me bring it up on the screen. What do you all think? Where is it? I lost it. Okay, I'll read it out just to save time. According to me, keeping the skills, the job role requires higher if you're having that. What do you think? Siddharth, could you rephrase that? Karen's says they got work tomorrow. Good luck at work tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Siddharth, according to me, keeping the skills, the job role requires higher if you are having... I'm not sure what you mean, Siddharth. If you could rephrase that, that would be brilliant. I hope I didn't miss too much above that. And Cass is not only writing on GitHub feedback, also writing in the chat. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your stream. I'm probably making some suggestions later on the issues. Cass, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Don't forget to DM me as well. I'd love to send you some swag. Anush, can't wait for the next review. Let's bring that up on the screen. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. We will definitely do another one. I think this went well. I learned lots of stuff as well. I had fun with you all. Thanks, Eddie, for hosting. You're welcome, Kush. It was awesome. Back to your hackathon project. Good luck on your hackathon project. Thanks for the review. We'll work on it. Kartiki, no problem. I hope I wasn't too harsh. I should maybe eat before I do reviews next time and have some chocolate. So I'll get hangry, right? That's the word. Awesome. I've learned a lot. Here we go. Let me bring this up. Where is it? Vince says, learn a lot on this live stream. Thank you so much. I have learned a lot as well. Let me bring this up. Awesome. I've learned so much too. I love just collaborating with you all because we all learn so much, which is really, really good. I love live streams. Get to geek out more. Siddharth has rewritten it. According to me, keep the skills higher if you're having that, and is also the one which role requires. Yes, you definitely customize the skills. Don't try and list everything. I've seen resumes and CVs where they've listed like 30 skills. Java, Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, like PHP, Ruby, everything. And I just think, so customize it for the role you're going for, definitely. I agree. Kaz says, I did. Awesome. I haven't checked Discord because it is all the way over there on that screen. I can't point to it, that screen, and I will get distracted and lost and trying to manage everything. I'm struggling already. So, yes.
Also about the languages, it's good to have, for me, multiple CVs for different job positions and list the languages, for example, in tech, to list the languages that the company wants to see, and you generally know them.
Exactly. I think that's good advice. No worries, Siddharth. I do it all the time as well, and it happens. And you're a machine. You do so many events, so it's okay. No problem. It happens. Thanks for rephrasing. Let's have a look. What else have we got in the chat? Will you continue reviewing in the stream from the remaining ones? Yes, I will. Shinobi, hopefully I pronounced that right. Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is I'll continue from the bottom, like the oldest one, like I do with the open source reviews, and work my way up to the most recent one. So if I go back to issues on the support repo, and that way people can create resume reviews. I just shared the link in the chat, so you can create a resume review or open source review, or even invite me to the organization if you want to get invited. When you hit new, I'm not even sharing my screen, Eddie. See, I'm having a long day as well. So when you hit on issues, when you hit new, make sure you select the right type, because if you select bug, I'm not going to review it because I filter by it on the stream. So today I was filtering by resume review, so you can see the all resume review, and I was starting from the bottom and working my way up, which is the oldest one. And then when we do an open source review, I'll filter it and I'll start. Oh, we've got 2 pages now. I'll start at the bottom, oldest one, which is from January, like a month ago, or maybe 6 weeks ago, and work my way up. So yes, do that. We got a test here 5 days ago from me. So I should be closing that. Eddie, why are you leaving test open? Terrible, terrible, Eddie. Bad example. I probably got distracted. And you can see update community here. Okay, so we'll work through those. That might probably needed a bug one, I think. So that's why it probably got missed. Let's have a look. What was that? 5 days ago. Oh, it's an issue. There's no pull request. Oh, there is a pull request from it. I have to catch up with my GitHub notifications. I currently have, shall I check? 948 GitHub notifications to catch up on. I'm going to try that to catch up on those tomorrow. So everyone who's waiting, it's only a week. So I'm not like a month behind. I'm only a week behind, but it's quite a lot. So thank you all so much for reviewing other pull requests and issues. So a lot of those, 948 sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But what is great, when I go to most of those issues and pull requests, they've been taken care of already. I can have a quick glance, just make sure I know what's going on, and then I can just kind of hit close. So, or merge if it's been reviewed by 3 or 4 people who might not have, merge access. But I see it's reviewed. There's been some conversations going on. I can then just hit merge as well. So definitely do that. Right, Alex and ViViV, anything we want to end with before we go? We've been going for 2 hours.
I think that this type of reviewing is very
helpful,
very awesome, and
nice.
Many people can learn a lot of things and improve their either open source projects or reviews or whatever.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I love how you both just worked that sentence. When ViViV comes in is helpful at the right time in the sentence. That was perfect. We'll practice that more so we can do more of them as well. That was a really good day.
Could we make a GitHub discussion and make all the notes over there on making resumes so that it's documented for future stuff?
That's a good idea. So we can list all the suggestions. So maybe all together now, as you're all here, so we don't forget, maybe we can just put some examples of what we thought. So let's have a look. Q&A, tips and tricks, and we will say resume reviews, and we can just say like top tips, and you can add yours below as well. But let's just put a few. So what were the few that we were saying? I can't even remember now.
The most important one that I'll take away is the single column resumes and double columns resumes.
Single column resume for, what was it for? For platforms that digest the resume. Digest, is that the right word? Consume, that break down, digest the resume. Multi-column looks good, but might end up as a mess in a platform service. What else? Links to projects and events. I think that's so important to add context. What else have we got? Sorry, go on.
Also, about the links, I had this idea. Why don't we make the hyperlinks in text so that if someone prints it, they can see the link, and when they click, if it's online, they can click on it. So that would be an amicable solution for having offline as well as online resumes.
Love that. Just in case it is printed. Perfect. I stole the next one in the chat, which is skills at the top. So thank you so much. Akshu, bye if you're heading off. Thanks for joining. And Tom says link to projects. Perfect. Got that. What else have we got in the chat? Bullet points for explaining projects. Bullet points where it makes sense to have short sentences. Not single bullet points. I think the single bullet points look odd. But yeah, I do like bullet points myself. Oh, Jay, that's a good one. Oh yeah, and Mercy as well. I missed it out. So Mercy says work experience before education. And we did skills at the top, and then work experience for education. And then we had Jay, 4 to 5 achievements and call to action. Love that. Lists to have 3 to 5 items, and then have a call to action, more available on request.
Are you just saying using AlexJS to format the entire thing and filter out the insensitive information from there?
Yes. I forgot about that. Thank you so much. AlexJS to check for inclusive terminology. Nice. And then remove redundant words. Yeah. Remove redundant. I can't spell redundant. Let me check. Redundant. There we go. Autocomplete for the win. Yes. Now remove redundant words by saying grouping sections together. Okay, nice. Great summary, everyone. This is brilliant. Dan Reed's asking a question. That's a good question, Dan. I don't know. There must be something. That's a great question. I don't know if anyone has an answer to this. Is there a resume builder Next.js or WordPress where you can have multiple versions? I think you could do something with ASCII docs or LaTeX or something like that, but you're probably doing that yourself, maybe more manual. I don't know. You have to check. That's an interesting one.
I was wondering, what if someone takes their resume and renders it into an HTML page, and then we can template that and do all sorts of stuff with that, so that you could have that in your website as well and keep that synced with the file.
That's true. If anyone wants to do that as a starting point, that's going to do. There must be something already like that already done. There must be one already.
Should be. I've seen ASCII doc. It works pretty well, and I think it generates
awesome.
a PDF and a site with what's the format like? It's something like Markdown, right?
For ASCII docs and ASCII Doctor, yeah, you can use Markdown, but you get a lot more functionality when you use ASCII docs. You get a lot more, so you can start with Markdown and add more. But I recommend using ASCII docs. It's very, very similar. Got some great suggestions coming in from Jay. Don't use blue if it's not a link. Manish says, yeah, take care of fonts and white spaces. Be careful with... Well, be careful is like a bad word. What can I write? Pay attention to fonts and white space. Call to action. I think I mentioned that. Call to action is up here. Or actually, another call to action. You're right. Call to action, top, bottom of resume, maybe to visit your GitHub profile. And everyone's different, whatever they're most proud of. It could be a YouTube video, GitHub profile, or YouTube video, or project. It could be like, so many different things. Have skills divided into sections so they take up one, like for column resume. Is that the same as, or remove redundant words, group them together? What I might do is I submit this now and you all can add some more so you can get some activity on your GitHub accounts to show that you're collaborating. Top tips from live stream. I want to share the link here. And then I'm going to let you all add more to it. So if I start a discussion, I'll share the link in the chat, and I think it's time for my dinner. Thank you all so much for that, conclusion at the end. I love that. I think that really helped me, and I've shared the link in the chat, so do go add your thoughts as well. These are links Nick and Alex shared previously. Which links? Yes, so if they've been shared already, and do feel free to put it in this discussion so that it's easier to find it than in the YouTube chat. It's quite hard to find it. So it's time for sleep. It's time for me to go get some dinner as well. So thank you all so much for joining. I really appreciate geeking out and collaborating with you. Thank Nick and everyone else who participated, and also people who joined the audio. We have Alex and Viva V on with me now. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you in the next live stream on Friday. I wonder what we should do. Battlesnake, working on the client project maybe, open source review. We'll spread it out over the month. We've got lots to do, I know. Really enjoyed geeking out with you all. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button, the bell button, so you get notified when I put out new videos and live streams. And I'll see you in the Discord between live streams and videos. What else? That's about it. Catch you all soon.
And
Thanks,
on Twitter.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.